guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thanks for joining us this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are. We're very happy to introduce the discovery on IBM's TM1. We've got some things to show you today, I think, and it's quite exciting for us to show you the that we've placed into our applications now. Director of Products and Services for Datawatch Asia Pacific. James Wakefield, he's the manager and practical lead from Trident, which is one of us here in Asia Pacific, along with Brendan, who's the director of engineering for Datawatch based in the Boston area outside of the U.S. in the U.S. Tom is kind of a lead guy here. I'm quite excited that he's joining this call because he knows very well what this is all. He was a key player from the side, even now into Datawatch, so he can explain his position a little bit later. So what I'll say is just a little bit about Datawatch's history into the visual data discovery for TM1, and we're going to get the demonstration a little bit later and show some real live how you can use within TM1. Cover all with question and answer a little bit later. Datawatch has been around for a long time. I think we were established somewhere around 1986. We went public in 1992. We're Tech, so if you want to take a look at us, you can see us out on the stock exchange. We're in real-time visual data discovery and the transformation of any data. So we can take any data from any data source and transform it and visually discover it with our application. Global operations all across we have just outside of Boston, that's in the U.S. We have offices in Europe, Singapore, Philippines. Our Asia Pacific is here in Singapore, and that's with global coverage. We're in just about all of the Fortune 100 companies, in almost all of those financial institutions across the world. We're embedded in many other products, IBM, TIBCO, Thomson. You can see our product in just about everywhere. As far as concerned, we're almost in every single one, especially here in Asia Pacific. Any company that you can think of, we're already in for many years. Citi, HSBC. We have a very deep embed in all of these areas. In the industry, we're very strong in the healthcare industry, and we have a very good foothold in just any government agency that you can possibly think of. Any other industry, whether it's manufacturing, we have a very good foothold in just about every other area. Asia Pacific, as you can see on the here, you might recognize many of these. Asia, we're in just about every industry that you can possibly think of. Banking, Audi. We did a big project in Audi in Japan. Boston Marina Bay Sands, we're across the entire area across Asia Pacific. Visual data discovery mean ease for the users to customize and share information across the organization. Interactive exploration of any type of data where it exists, whether it's in type of information or whether it's in static documents. We need to capture data in any form and in any format that information through our visual data discovery front end. We can quickly identify anomalies that you're looking at. So we're looking at the outliers, and we're looking for data in need to know things you're looking for within your data, things that are your data but you haven't found yet. So it's the information that you're trying to find but can't. A very unique way through our visual data discovery. We allow for Enrich R and Python connect. For IBM, we have points. We've had a long history with IBM actually, and we do connect through different areas. It's pretty exciting for us in Datawatch because we have activity through WebSphere, the WebSphere InfoSphere streams, so we connect into real time and look at streaming data. So connectivity through relational databases, and through Cloudant and NoSQL. We also have a good connecting point with the content manager. So content through IBM CMOD, we can now connect to all of the documents that are stored in IBM CMOD. IBM TM1. So with points through them, we have the ability to easily discover any kind of data format it's in any, whether it's structured, semi or unstructured data, in real velocity, deliver real-time analytics. To introduce Tom, who will do the visual data discovery for TM1.
Great. Thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, fine.
Okay, great. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, so just a few slides here for me, and then we get to see the live demo from James, which I think is going to be great. Very quick intro about myself. So I was left him last year. I am running the TM1 development team and in the TM1 team for something on the order of 15 years. Really about the opportunity that Watch, and Datawatch offered. Datawatch kind of, I'd say I was really pleased to help us create our vision data discovery for TM1 initiative. I think the nation of all modeled, I won't go on and on about TM1, though I love going there. All the power one combined with our vision analytics is a really unique proposition in the market and extremely powerful. So if you were to kind of walk through the animations of this slide, Scott.
Yep.
Just a couple of them, I think. so rather than just taking my word for it, one more. You can go ahead. Thanks, right there. You're looking out at the BI, business intelligence world, analytics world, is saying that data discovery, is the future. If it's not already, the present, it's absolutely coming. I imagine you have seen this. Your BI, kind of IT-driven BI, is just kind of much more fast-paced. Kind of modeling on the fly capability. We're certainly seeing that, and this is for much. Gartner predicting that the applications that are leveraging real streaming data, real-time data to drive through analytics and faster decisions are going to be, extremely, as you can see here, by 2017. To be doing streaming analytics. Of these two trends, data discovery and the use of streaming data, puts data in a really fantastic place just because of our ability to do visualizations and our history for the last 7 or 8 years doing streaming data. And then on top, sort of special to this presentation, not mentioned by Gartner, is our ability to talk to modeled data, which in particular ones. If you could go to the next slide, Scott, that would be great. So you can let's walk through the animations here. Okay, thanks. So Datawatch's data discovery, traditional BI, is Cognos' MicroStrategy, things like that, and then the kind of new wave of visual data discovery started with Click, Spotfire, Tableau, and Datawatch. We're all there, doing AI-driven data discovery on traditional databases, and then now we're starting to get into big data. So difference for Datawatch in this world are our ability to handle continuous query against streaming data, active MQ messages or streams from IBM Streams or Aces, what have you. But again, I don't know how relevant that capability is to this audience. I think in the future, we're all streaming data. But what is interesting is our ability to also handle hierarchy-driven, aggregated rule-driven modeled data, which TM1 is all about. I think we provide capability, the power of TM1 above and beyond the competitor we're also listing on the left. Next slide, please. So I want to get to the demo, but screenshot examples of what I'm talking about. So because of my as well as a significant number of the kind of new employees at Datawatch coming from Applet and Cognos, we have a understanding of what TM1 is all about, and we're bringing that to bear on our integration with TM1. For instance, on this screen you can see we're taking, in the first red dotted box, when you're setting up a connection between data and TM1 instance, one of your TM1 instances, kind of operating by default on a cube subset basis. We're going to let you build on those application foundational blocks that you've already constructed in your TM, rather than forcing you to necessarily write MDX queries, though you can absolutely do that. Once you've connected to your cube views and your subsets, we, I think, continue value because we understand the nature of this OLAP model through easy suppression of null rows and giving you approaches for dealing with ranked hierarchies, which is a bit complex in the discovery world. As well, the final checkbox on that screen says add external. That's a crazy label for use TM1's calculations, whether they're at the leaf level of the cube or a consolidated level. We want to leverage the read and calculation and aggregation abilities of TM1, and not read that effort or sort of do it again incorrectly. This is just a picture of how we do understand the TM1 world we're focused on. Now, please, we go kind of above and beyond visualization and reporting capabilities currently available for TM1. Just a couple of examples here. Your connection to TM1 will allow you to join your Cube views with attribute values from your same TM1 model, which create visualizations and tables in Datawatch where you have attribute values on your rows and can do aggregation based on those attribute values. This is something that's, I think, missing from the TM1 reporting suite and can be quite powerful. Join TM1 data to external sources, relational databases, spreadsheets, files, even streaming data in our kind of in-memory. We're not a storage repository, so we're not going to store data, but as looking at it, we will combine it with other data sources as you set it up. And just on this slide, we're talking about you could also we have a various library of time series analysis, and by pointing at your time dimension or time dimensions in your cubes, you're able to, as a business analyst, put together an array of line chart or scatter plot or combination time visualizations on top of your existing cubes. And then the last one for me, but find some points of integration. The visions that you build in Datawatch, certainly on TM or any other source, be embedded in your own portal. It could be SharePoint, it could be Cognos portal, so they can be put part of your existing applications or run as an independent application. Points of integration, we do have an ability to do URL actions, which allow kind of given visual in Datawatch. Your users can right-click and launch a URL action, which could perform against TM1 or kind of launch them into a search, taking from your visual and Cube View the right slice. So you do the planning or alterations to the budget or what have you, and then see change take effect immediately in the visualization in a side-by-side portal or two different or however you like. Finally, from an perspective, if you choose to go to the kind of full stream, we have a very strong SDK for embedding visual Datawatch into your own, rich client applications or web applications, a high degree of interactivity and control. All right, and one last slide here. It just we showed it at the IBM Vision conference in Orlando. This is going to be available very shortly, and I think you'll be seeing a demo later. One of our connectors to TM1 is using the very latest API TM1, the full OData standard. It's a very exciting innovation in TM1. It kind of brings it from into the world of cloud computing and performance in the wind. We value of that. And just to give a little kudos, I was part of making it before I left IBM and came to Datawatch. This was a real thing for IBM and for the partners, like Trident, to better leverage, easily build extensible cloud-ready applications. We're the connector for Watch to TM1 using the OData interface to take advantage of all that capability that TM1 is coming up with. Great.
Thank you, Tom. I think we're going to switch it over to James, who's going to give us a demo of with TM1 Datawatch. Are you ready?
Ready here.
Okay.
see my screen now. I'm mainly working in Datawatch desktop today to show about building this visual data discovery overview of TM1 servers. To concentrate on a couple of key areas that I believe are some key differentiators and Datawatch can go about interacting with your server. And start off with today, we're going to have a look at some visualizations below. Some two TM1 cubes interacting with each other with a common filter across those two, and having live interactive filtering happening on your TM1 cubes as the one area. So you can see me here interacting with the filter on the right hand side. I'm going through and I'm now able to go and add selective regions that I'm able to analyze here. The key thing is the ease of which to build this information up and interact with it. So using two heat maps here. On the top we've got a heat map around our labor force, our workforce. We've got a breakdown by region, so this is going to be our common TM1 dimension that we want to be able to do visualizations against. Heat map here we're showing FTEs, so the size of the box here represents the number of FTEs within each region, representing the month salary of each of those FTEs. So if I can select all and bring in all my regions, we can start to identify where we've got outliers and to investigate those. So we see that most are going up. We have some blues in here. These are our outliers. We can start to investigate why they have much higher monthly salaries compared to FTEs that they have. I'm actually working on a GL cube. So this has the region dimension coming in TM1. But in this particular heat map, what I'm showing is the box representing the sales and representing those cost of sales. So I'm able to start identifying some outliers here and investigate why those particular ones are shown as different colors or maybe different sizes. Go about building this visualization that you see here and enabling this dynamic filtering capability of it. Let's move across into a blank one and build one live. Blank screen here, but with Datawatch desktop, it's a very easy setup. You've got your visualizations and your data. If I go to an existing data built earlier on, and I'm going to edit this one. In the slides earlier on, a inbuilt connector through to TM1. And within the connector, you're identifying your admin host, the TM1 server that you want to connect to. Note all the security authentications are supported. And at the bottom, we're connecting to TM objects. So we have TM1 Cube Views, dimension subsets, even ability to go and interrogate control objects such as attribute cubes. So in this case, I'm connecting to my GL cube on a view that I've built. It's just called Datawatch here, and I'm going in and I'm some of those cube view properties that I'm on, and I'm suppressing rows coming through in here. We're able to actually come in and rename any of these if we want to be able to just show names rather than potentially codes coming through, and do some transformations as well. So now a data connection set up to my GL cube and my labor workforce cube. I can come in and start interacting with that data. Into my parts area, I come down and select a visualization. So let me come down and select this tree map and then drag it onto my work here in Datawatch desktop. Visualization here, I want to be able to populate it with some data. So I come to my tables that I've built, I can come in and select, to begin with, let's say my labor costs, my dimension by region. So I'm going to bring that one into my breakdown. So now different regions showing up. Now the size of those boxes represent by the number of FTEs in them. I drag and drop my size, my FTE onto the size shelf there, and now I'm seeing visually Hong Kong and Singapore represent the largest number of FTEs. Now that's one visual, but how about I want to be able to see the monthly salary that we're paying each of these regions and visually represent that as our color. I'm going to bring and drop that into our color area. Start to identify where there are some potential outliers in here. And really the power of visualization, rather than just looking at the numbers, is being able to identify those outliers. Will be able to spot something in your TM1 cubes that you just might not have noticing numbers normally. I also wanted to be able to bring in and visualize my GL. So I can grab another visualization, just bring it up here, come back to tools, and this time choose my GL cube to be able to analyze some information from. And I'm going to bring out the region. This is common between the two of them. I want to see the breakdown across regions. In this particular case, let's have a look at sales on this. The box represents how big their sales numbers are. I have a visualization of the color being the cost of sales here. So if I drag the color shelf, I'll see the colors updating, and the representation of that color being how high it is compared to the values in this visualization. I could go to my settings area here, and properties of this, and I can come into my colors palette. If there's a different color palette that I think will represent this in a more meaningful way, and a different color scheme representing that. Was that even though I've got these two visualizations coming from different cubes, I want to be able to filter those. So in my visual arts, come down to my legends and filters area and select my filter onto the board where I want to appear. Table. The region dimension that we saw was the common breakdown between these two areas. Onto my filters. Started by giving me a search box. That's because there's a lot of regions in here, so I might be wanting to search for ones rather than selecting them. Just come easily into my settings, filter, and now I can change this to multiple selections. And I can hit that button and still search if I want to as well. Close this down. That. Interacting with this filter across those two cubes. So I'm going to select all of them, and I'm adding in the ones that I really want to analyze here. Going through and selecting, let's say, Hong Kong, Queensland, and as I'm interacting with this filter, is updating to show those values based upon that filter. And how easy it is to interact with those visualizations that we and selecting all of them. Datawatch start, which is where you go designing your visualizations, but then you then publish to a server. The one I built earlier, and you can, in the web, I'm able to interact with that same set of visualizations dynamically page as well, and be able to interact with it just as I did in the Datawatch client. Of building some visualizations over TM1 and be able to easily filter across common documents there. One of the interesting aspects that Tom mentioned was being able to not show some visualizations, but also interact with those visualizations. The write capability, obviously common to TM1, and being able to do scenario analysis. For example, we're connecting to an expenses cube here, where users are entering budgets and forecasts. The visualizations that I've built here allow for us to identify maybe some errors in the data here. We're bringing through the total this year that the users have entered in their budgets, their current year, and variance between those. Here is really about trying to identify the outliers here between where they've still got some work to do on this year's budget, and so they've got a big difference from this budget to last year's budget. And our step over here is easily to identify those ones that probably still have a bit more work on their budgets, or there are valid reasons why they've got such variances to last year. Here is allowing us to see the different regions, breakdowns, being able to expand out to the different accounts, regions, to scroll through and identify the one to maybe do a little bit more work on. Capital territory here, we can see the breakdown of expenses, maintenance, meetings, occupancy, personnel, etc. Previous year, this year's variance between them, so that's a pretty big variance here, and that is identified out in the scatter plot on the right hand side as being something that's pretty much from the norm there. Check what that person has been doing in their budgets. Right click, there is the URL action that Tom did in his slides. You're able to come in and select the URL action, and it's going to pass through context. I'm adding authentication here, a single sign-on will pass straight through into just normal TM1 web here, passing through the context of the region I've selected there, so you can see it's updated the Australian Capital Territory, which I was doing my right click pass through there. So now I'm able to go into my budget template, down, and here is an account line rent where someone has entered 20 million in for the full year and spread that across each month. So this someone's probably done a bit of too many zeros in their rent line, and we can easily come in and we can change values. Normal TM1 right back through TM1 web. We change it, send it back into TM1, read write the head, coming to our visualization dashboard here. Total expenses line on our visualization. We'll be able to refresh and pull through that new value going into TM1 and be able to update the information flowing through which we refreshed as we needed. So now we see not only our values being refreshed in our cross tab here, but on our inside scatter plot here, we no longer have that outlier presented on our visualization as well. The interactivity here between not only the Datawatch desktop but also the web as well, passing through context into TM1, allowing that right back and update our visualization dashboards. tab here, we have a visualization that I've built here basically around an Excel file. And this visualization is giving us a bit of a around some of our hotel information and some of the chats of these hotels. We're able to analyze these both a numeric format, a visualization, this map here, allowing me to break by state into the larger areas of deluxe rooms, and the color showing us the capacity in there. I have geographical representation of this information, as showing different states and representations on there. A bar chart here as well, where the height is represented by the number of standard rooms. The color is representing the deluxe rooms. Now, that's statistical information that I'm able to analyze here through Excel, but typically a lot of the financial information is going to be held and modeled within TM1 and budgeted and forecasted in there as well. So this interactive dashboard based on operational data that we can analyze, start analyzing this information also with our information and be able to interact with it in the rich way that we're interacting with the operational by the filters and visualizations. So into my I'm going to build that up and combine a view of that information, external source Excel file to pull that data together and provide interactive analysis over the top. Here in my data tables, you can see my hotels, and this is the data source that I've built to combine TM1 Cube together with the external data source. So I can edit this data table. On the left of our Cube view coming through from TM1, you can see the Cube view from, brought in an Excel file to an Excel file here as well. And in the middle, you can see the join between two data sources that I the hotel region, which is a dimension from my TM1 Cube, and my hotel Excel column coming through here from the Excel file. That allows me to create a data set, which is not only my TM1 data here, but to the right, it has enabled me to bring in the operational data here as well. In longitude and latitude, which is going to be able to represent that in a geographical format for me as well. So data source means that I can start visualizing it. So visualizations here, a table just to bring in information in. So drag and drop a table. Come in. I can start bringing in my hotels on my phone, maybe the total revenue on my members here, so like that. Now TM1 Cube, and I can maybe bring in room revenue, and the amount of money we're making from food and beverage, from the internet. We're combining that with information I've blended here from the external Excel. So add in the number of deluxe rooms, number of rooms, and the capacity. So a table representing that number there. Would it be this in a hierarchical breakdown, maybe based upon state? So I could do the state and include a
breakdown as well, and the manager associated with this hotel as well. So as I move into the breakdowns, I'm actually able to visualize that information by drag state, move to hotel location, and individual managers there. I can turn to maybe say, starting off with the state, managers that are states and different locations, and then analysis based upon the information that I'm finding. So that's that we're bringing in there, and I can run that one. In the visualization, let's see map. My data table. Let's take hotel location. The hotels rated in here. Look at that, maybe this by new, dragging that into my size shelf. I can the box represents the size of the total revenue. So I can ASPI here being the biggest. Maybe combine that with, is relationship with the number of deluxe rooms. So drag that onto our color. And now we start to see a visual based upon whether there's a correlation between total revenue the hotel is making and number of deluxe rooms that are available within that hotel. I size that one to make a bit more space. The geographical capability as well mean that I can bring in this map plot visualization onto our dashboard. Let's get the break of this, let's say, by our hotels. And bring in those hotels based upon their latitude and altitude. And represent maybe the size by total revenue and the number of rooms size. We see the combination here in Australia. So let's area. And we can the visualization at the level of zoom that we want to go into. A filter will interact with this data. A filter box. Analyze that by the rest of the information I have in here. So maybe bring state in. We can start just concentrate on what's happening in ACT, New South Wales, Queensland, or say WA, and we can having those visualizations interacting based upon the filters that we're adding in. So we did TM1 Cube with an external file. We'll start to visualize this not only in a geographical format, but a numeric format and tree map files as well. Another example you might want to interact with your TM is also bring in unstructured. You can bring in the capability. In this example here, going through when we're analyzing data coming out of the TM1 server log, extra load time in seconds. The log is a very unstructured data file. The lines that are in there are varying information. There's that we're able to easily pick up that button. So the ability to bring that unstructured data in and make a data table out of it is a very powerful thing. So go to my data table here, I can bring up my logs, and you can see here I'm bringing in the ID and the load seconds here. I've created a visualization based upon that data coming in from the log. Represented this in a time series format. So I'm extremely strong about analyzing information based upon time series and being able to represent that, be able to filter that, and be able to play that information over a time period. Visual of my server load times the different keys that are actually coming in roughly about between 10 seconds that my server is restarting. But right at the start, we can see this peak. Whatever, it took 250 seconds to easily identify that based upon the visualization rather than scrolling through millions of lines in a log file and trying to pick out what's been happening over a course of time. Also able to interact with this data by my filters and to specific range of days or time period to be able to get a further level of analysis in there. And data set, I might want to plot around that has been operating over time and return the information based upon that. And of being able to combine data sets together that you might not just have available within your TM1 cubes. What I want to talk through is, as Tom mentioned, there is the new data connection available within TM1. Create a new data table. You can see a list of data sources that is able to bring in and blend together and incorporate visualizations, any streaming data, or any file information, and databases that you're able to connect to as well. And specifically here, we've got the TM1 OData connection. Through and selecting the TM1 server, linking to the TM1 server that's got set up, log server, and the Cube Views, and here, so going through and selecting my cube, and using a list of data I want to be able to connect to. Enrich this with different properties we want to apply to it, and we've also got capabilities to maybe parameterize this, be able to easily parameterize it to return different years or months based upon how we want to interact with that data on our dashboard. And direct accessing this source, we'll then bring in that data via OData. And the speed is very helpful when connecting to a TM1 server via the data connectivity. So we can now into our TM workbook, bring our GL information from TM1 in the OData connection, and then start interacting based upon visualizations available. Let's region. So in my color and interacting with the TM1 Cube View as a data source via the OData connection. It is, as you see it here, extremely fast. So that's a couple of key why you might want to consider Datawatch for inting and visualizing with your TM1 of other examples that are using data other than TM1 that we thought relevant for today as well. So starting with this data that we've created in Datawatch, we're combining, if I go into this information here, we're hooking ActiveMQ here. ActiveMQ is a messaging service, and that service is real-time, and Datawatch dashboard is representing as it moves in real-time, combining that with information as well to analysis across the two sets of data. So graphical point of view, from bar chart here, rotation in real time. Here, to represent information in is time series analysis. Within our times here, we've got a set of information around our trucks. The trucks were information in by different time periods, that is the average seatbelt status was, our average braking for each truck that is out there, speed that is coming through. We're able to present information on here and hone into specific time periods that we want to analyze anything within that time period. That even down to the individual minutes or groups that we want to add that by. And one of the other key things that you're able to do is perform a playback of that information being represented over a geographical format. As the trucks are moving around we're able to pick their latitude coordinates, represent that on a geographical map here, and the color representing maybe the speed or the is happening at that particular time, so that people are able to visually see that information as the truck's going around, and no matter when you come into that visual, you're able to hone it down into an individual time period or layback facility over that period of time to see as the information is seen during that specific period. A couple of other key parts of the Datawatch suite and what it does to not only just visualizing TM1, but all the data sources that you might have available within your organization as well. There might be some questions, so I think I'll do Scott and Tom at this point for Q&A.
Okay, great. Thanks, James. Thank you very much. That was great. Again, as James indicated, we have a suggestion box. If you have any questions, you can type it into the screen down below. We've received a few questions already. Please type it in at the bottom. There's a chat box that you can type in. Screen at this moment. Hello? Great. So a few questions that's come in. One is what versions will TM1 will work with Datawatch? What versions of TM1 will work with Datawatch, and what can we connect to, basically? Tom, do you want to step in on this?
at this stage, it's version 10.1 or higher with the net connector from Datawatch TM1. And then the OData connector to TM1 is available with the release of TM1, which is TM1 10.2.2.
Do you want to repeat that one more time? I think there was a
I'll try that again. So, yeah, our .NET connector to TM1 or 10.2 or higher, and the new data connector to TM1 will only work with TM1 10.2, the latest release, but it will work with release forward. At least certainly that's the IBM claim.
Great. RAM or CPU will Datawatch require if you have a big TM1 instance?
As well, if you like, Scott.
Sure.
My classic TM1 answer I can apply here, which is it depends. A key principle here is that we don't want to pull all of the TM1 data into memory in data. There's in called query on demand. We didn't get into that in the demo here, but essentially you can instruct Datawatch to only pull over the information that's on the screen by the active visuals. So we have a 40 byte or 100 gigabyte cube, a cube view that was thousands of rows and 50 columns or whatever. Mode we're going to load in at any given time the cells and rows from that cube view actually are incorporating into visual. And we don't want to be re-aggregating. We're look at aggregate rows directly in TM1. It's not as though we have to load in all of these level values from your TM1 cube, re-add them up. We don't want to do that. We're going to look at the results from TM1. So you can create lots of in the visual that will take a lot of memory, but for the it's not going to in any way to having a giant TM1 cube does not mean you get a giant memorization in your Datawatch server.
Okay. If any other questions, feel free to type it into the chat box. If we can easily answer questions that you might have, just.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
10.1 supported. Answer.
Can you please?
Cognos Express 10.1 will it be supported?
So, I believe the question was, will Cognos Express 10.1 be supported? I believe so. We haven't tested yet, but I believe that is TM1 1, right, under covers. The .NET connector should work on that TM1.
Will one be able to interface with structured data other than Excel, e.g. Oracle and SQL?
So, correctly, can data interface with other structured data beyond TSL and so what we connect to? I think so. We have connectors to a number of big data sources like MongoDB or This is, if you point at a URL and read JSON or XML directly to the web, we have connectors for that OData and general OData as well as TM1's OData. We connect that obviously to our own modeler product, and then others. But really, one of the goals in joining Datawatch was to build a broad array of connectivity. So if part of our SDK allows us to quickly build additional connectors, if there's a data source that they don't see it supported on our list of available connectors, I implore you, please reach out to us and let's talk, because if you have a connector already, we would very much like to talk to you about building one to your data source.
Okay. Any other questions that you see?
I don't know questions from my side.
Okay. Just to emphasize, if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us. I hope everyone can see the screen. You please feel free to contact us at either in Singapore or in Australia. The email addresses and phone numbers displayed on the screen, and to answer your questions. Also, feel free to download our 14-day trial software. Try to experience our products on your own free time.
One more
question. Yeah.
Is security overlaid to Datawatch?
I think the question was, is TM1 security overlaid, or how does it integrate with Datawatch?
Yes.
So, okay, great. When you set up your connector to use the TM1 security mode, is it mode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then at that point, the credentialing or your end user's credentials, if it's a single, will be what's passed through. So you have a number of choices to make there, and it depends on how your deployment is structured.
Okay. Questions? Okay. If you have any other questions, please again contact us on our website or our email addresses, or at either one of our offices in Singapore or Australia. We'll be here for any of your questions. And for Trident for putting on a great demo, and thank you very much for all your assistance and answering the questions. Thank you very much. Thank you.